today?
Doing fine.
Great. I'm Caroline Ewart, member of the Handbell Choir here at Reid and also a member of the Worship Committee, and I'm here with Dale Hesse, Interim Music Director. I thought we'd do a little one-on-one with you, Dale, and find out a little about you and understand who is the man behind the organ. All right, tell me a little about yourself, where you grew up, your family life, your family, that sort of thing.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My dad was one of 10, and my mom had a brother, so at least on my dad's side we have a big family and lots of people to visit when we go home. We have 3 children. Our oldest son, Jonathan, he is 30, oh boy, I should have done the math.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, and then he was born in '88, let's put it that way. My daughter was born
32.
in...
He would be 32.
Yeah, so my daughter was... and my daughter's a math teacher, so I don't know where she got that skill. My daughter was born in '93, and our youngest son was born 2 months after we moved here in '98.
Oh, awesome. And what brought you to Augusta?
I was in the centrifugal pump business in the industrial area and had worked for a company in Pittsburgh for 20 years, and that company was bought out and our office was closed down, so I got a job with George Iron Works here in Augusta, and that's what brought us to this area.
All right, great. Tell me about your musical background. How did you get started, that sort of thing?
Well, I started taking piano at age 7, and between 6th and 7th grade, after I had about 5 years or so under my belt, the organist at our church retired, and everybody knew that I played, but the organ was quite a bit different than the piano. The church members said, well, the keys are the same. They have black and white keys just like a piano, so you shouldn't have any problem, Well, one problem was my legs weren't long enough to reach the pedals, so I had to park my bottom on the edge of the bench like this and put my right foot on the swell pedal to keep from falling off, and then I played everything with my left foot. Well, I did that until I went to college, and so I got pretty good at going to from point A to point B without looking. But it was just with my left toe. And when you play the organ, you have to use both feet. You have to use your heel and your toe. So when it came to taking organ lessons, I had lots of bad habits to break, and because I was only playing with my left toe.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
So I went on to Teal College in Greenville, Pennsylvania. We grew up in Mount Lebanon, which was a suburb of Pittsburgh, and Teal College is about 90 miles north of Pittsburgh. And then I went to graduate school at Wittenberg University in Springfield, Ohio.
Awesome. Graduate school in music?
Yes, it was a Master of Sacred Music program.
Oh. Yes. Right. That's my next question was, you have such a wealth of musical knowledge, including experience conducting a handbell choir, of which I am a member. Is there anything you can't do musically? Is there any instruments you don't play?
Oh, lots of them, yeah. When I was at Wittenberg, it was my first exposure to directing a handbell choir, and my friends called the bell choir Dale's Bales. So that reputation has lived on.
And that was before you moved to the South.
That's right, yes, that's exactly right.
And when you came to Reid, you literally jumped in with both feet. You were hired as the organist.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you became the choir director, the interim music director, and the handbell choir director. And I will have to say you've done a bang-up job at all 3, including playing the organ. And we see you every Sunday playing the organ while directing.
Uh-huh.
and so that's fun. And so tell me a little bit about your experience working with churches, and then how you ended up here at Reid.
Well, I've done different choirs over the years. I've had small instrumental ensembles that basically have made use of talent within the church. I've had like a brass choir, men's choruses, women's choruses, youth handbell choirs, and adult handbell choirs. So just done a variety of different things over the years. And I mentioned before my experience in the industrial pumping business. Well, I did that for 32 years, and during that whole time I also had church jobs, so I pretty much worked 2 jobs for most of my life. So, but it's been fun. It certainly kept me busy, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I have no regrets.
Now, have you been playing the organ all throughout those years?
Ever since 6th grade, yes.
Wow.
And I had organ lessons in college, and then continued in graduate school, and had church jobs all of those years.
Now, your entire family is musical, because I know Jonathan is in the handbell choir with us, and your wife has been in the choir also on occasion.
Uh-huh.
She was there for Christmas. So has Jonathan always been musical, or was that forced on him as a child? I'm just kidding.
Hopefully not.
Because he's incredibly talented.
Well, he's actually graduated with a music degree from Georgia Southern.
Oh, okay.
And when he graduated, the job market was not very good at the time, and he had worked for Cold Creek Nurseries over in Aiken
Mm-hmm.
during his college years over the summer. And so after he graduated from college and was having trouble getting work, he was hired on again at Cold Creek, and he's now a manager over there, and he's responsible for several work crews, and basically quotes jobs that their crews do, and sees that they're executed properly. And so it keeps him very busy, and he loves music as well, and just enjoys the opportunity to be involved here at Reid.
Well, I know he's a huge help to me in the handbell choir. When I get lost, he's very nicely and very quickly will say, "Bar 32." So I love it. I love it. Don't know what I would do without it. All right. Do you have a favorite piece of music?
Oh, that's a difficult
Or a favorite composer,
question.
or a favorite genre, or something like that?
I guess my favorite composer for the piano is Chopin. Now, Chopin is extremely difficult to play, but if you're able to overcome your shortcomings, it's some of the most gratifying music written for the piano, and some of the most beautiful. As far as the most difficult piece, one would have to be the Andante, Spignata, and Grand Polonaise by Chopin, which is a rather long piece, and I use my piano playing kind of as a relief valve. You know, it's just a different form of enjoyment. I don't play the piano professionally, but I enjoy doing it, and it just provides some private time and enjoyment for me when I'm not working.
Great. All right, now we're going to change tunes a little. So what is your favorite non-music related activity?
Probably gardening.
Oh.
And I think I've
Still
always
very creative.
Well, I've always been very interested in that, and again, it was just a different type of work and a means of enjoyment, and you could see the results of it in the beauty of the yard and the blooms that would come at different times of the year, and probably got more interested in that after we moved south, because there were so many more varieties of plants, and there's essentially something blooming almost year-round here.
And you're not getting snow in June.
Right. And up in Pittsburgh, the snow, the azaleas never got anywhere near the size that they do here, because I think a lot of times what would happen is the snow would break them down in the wintertime, and they never got real big. But I think just the variety that you have in the South just piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
And as I walked through the gardens across the street at EDS, I would see things that I hadn't seen up north, and it was just something that made me think, oh, I need to get one of those for my yard.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids are probably laughing at this point, because I think some of them have counted how many azaleas we have in our yard, and it's into the hundreds, and they kind of make fun of me on that.
Keeping your son in business.
Yes, yeah. And he's been a big help.
I'm sure. All right, what's your favorite food?
Well, growing up, my dad was the office manager and accountant at two of probably the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. And one of his perks was to take his family to dinner. We usually went every Sunday afternoon. And I would have to say my favorite was a dish called filet of sole Veronique. And it was some filet of sole almost wrapped in a ball with white grapes in the middle, and there was like a cream sauce over top, and it was to die for.
So it's not just spaghetti as your favorite food. It's filet of sole Veronique.
It was spaghetti in grad school when I had to cook for myself.
Do you have a favorite dessert?
Ooh, I enjoy ice cream. There was a bakery in the Shady Side area of Pittsburgh called Prantle's Bakery, and they made this burnt almond torte that was just delightful. So I would say that ranks up there.
You have a very high-end palate, I should say.
Well, I guess I was spoiled by my dad, because he ate it at work often, and if Mom wasn't having something that appealed to him, he would have dinner at work.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man. All right, is there anything else we should learn about you today? Anything?
Oh.
Anything? What's something we don't know about you?
Well, I don't walk on water. That's one thing. And I guess I really enjoy what I do. The people here have been just wonderful to work with, and they've opened their arms to me and my family when we came to Reid. And one of the major reasons we came here was that I teach piano across the street at EDS, and I was running 30 miles to come here for piano lessons, you know. So when this position opened up, it was very attractive, just from the standpoint of convenience, and of course the organist to die for. So there were lots of very positive reasons for coming to Reid, and it has proved to be a great decision. I mean, I have thoroughly enjoyed working with the chancel choir and the bell choir. All of those people are very dedicated to what they do. They, you know, even in these trying times of COVID, they're very faithful to the ministry of the Lord in this place, and it's just a blessing to be a part of that.
Well, we